Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Friday, the 17th of October 2014, this is our 40th weekly recapitulation of the world markets, the dry markets, the wet market, as well as geopolitics affecting sales. We reiterate the view that the world is entering its worst ever period, and conversely, the markets are affected. Whether dry or wet, the markets are very peculiar, and that was expected by us all along. Whether eco ships or non-eco ships, even if the cargoes are increased to the 10 billion level, 10 billion tons of cargoes, which is up 800 million tons from last year's recorded 9.2, the situation will be the same. Full stop and period. Okay? Nothing is going to change this. Not all these famous gurus and those analysts that you paid an arm and a leg. And that's very important. They have failed. They have conned you. This is the result. For exactly 10 months since the fall of the year began, the worst ever start in 30 years, the markets are down. Today we have recorded 944 points, the Baltic Dry Index. This is 1,303 points down from the closing of December 2013. At the point the Baltic Dry Index was 2,247. And this is very, very important. 58 plus something percent lower. This is a grave thing to know, and this is the truth. The BCI closed 1,362 points, which is up 47 from last closing of yesterday, but is 182 points down since last week. This is a very important size, as well as the Panamax that will follow, that we always are attracted to. The BPI, the Baltic Panamax Index, was up 26 points since yesterday and 101 points since last week. That's very good news, at least for Panamaxes. The BSI was down 10 points at 923, but also down 47 points since the closing of last week. And finally, the last size, the BHSI, was down 2 points at 501, very close to the 500 points level, which is also 15 points down since last week. So overall, the dry market is down. No strength at all. People expected after 8 weeks, remember we'll be saying this, it was struggling to maintain the 1,000 points. The wet cargoes were up 4 points at 698, the Baltic Dirty Dry Index, which is also up 24 since last week. Some good news here. On the other hand, the cleans were up 9 points at 557, but that was down 19 since the last closing. So difficult times ahead that we are recording. Now, on the world stage, let's start with health issues. The Ebola. The Ebola is a very important thing, and if we don't contain it, as we have said, we will see things getting worse. The major powers, the US, France, the United Kingdom, are sending specialist ships there in the region to contain and assist the striking countries there. Of course, we have some incidents outside Africa, in the US, in Europe, so it is important. What we didn't like to hear from not just gossip, but from reliable sources, is that Ebola was looming in the background, yet few had the guts to advise, and that's important. Ukraine, meeting after meeting, and Byzantine politics. No, this is not on, and we have lately Mrs. Merkel, that she thinks is going to punish Mr. Putin and the Russians there. Well, this is for internal consumption there. She has her agenda, he has his agenda, and let's see what's going to happen. This is important. The Middle East. The Middle East and its periphery is going worse to worse. I really don't like what President Obama said. It's going to be a long-haul war there against ISIS. No. The politicians, they have failed. Guys, you have failed. Let the generals take the lead and smash them. And I really mean this. Smash them. Okay? This is important. We are pleased to hear that many attempts from terrorists in Western capitals such as London, very close to us, they have been contained. But do we have enough personnel to counter over 1,000 incidents? What if something gets offhand? This is important. Okay? Now, some countries in the region, they play their own tune, and this is not on. Okay? Now, Libya, another place to watch. Anarchy, what do you expect? Europe, in a simple, very simply, is a Yellowstone to burst. It's not to see what the economies of Cyprus or Portugal or Greece are doing, but what is really the German economy doing? This is of importance, and should be monitored more than Greece, more than Spain, more than Portugal and other countries, is the German economy. Okay, and as we mentioned Greece earlier on, I really wonder, what Mrs. Amal Clooney will do. Can she do the trick with the Parthenon marbles? This is the official name. No other name should be heard. Any other name is nonsense. Okay, so the marbles that despicably been cut off, that was a really savagely act, should return back to Greece. It's a political issue, and we all know this. Okay, it was a prerequisite to have the museum there. So the Athens Museum is there, waiting for the marbles, and this is important. We don't like to listen to excuses from those holding the marbles. Okay, so that's an important thing. Now, let's go to the Far East. Hong Kong, the saga continues. More demonstrations there. Let's see whether the Beijing team will contain it. We don't like to see nasty things happening. It must be nicely contained and real freedom to preserve. This is democracy. There are many events coming up, like the Capital Links CSR on the 4th of November at Marmorgate Place. We got more events on this issue to come. We got in Rotterdam at Rotterdam Ahoy 11th to the 13th of November, the Intermodal Europe, an interesting event. Cadwallader's Memorial Lecture is coming on the 25th of November, and of course many people will be there for the biennial event. Changing now to another tune, holidays. The summer is still at the end in the Northern Hemisphere. Let's do something odd. Let's go to Scotland and see what's like there this time of the year. With this, we wish you a nice weekend. We still have in our mind the super events down in Cyprus or Vista, and we are waiting for more reports to come in, and we will also advise you in detail with photographs of what has happened. That event covered all aspects of shipping, shore, offshore, you name it. Bravo to all. Beware about the weather changing conditions. This is John Faraklas from allaboutshipping.co.uk in London. Have a lovely weekend.